To finish first, first you must finish. And that's a quote by Juan Manuel Fangio. And this is Circuit Superstars, a game I've been meaning to play for years. It looks really nice, and I've been meaning to add it into the game list one day. And I thought, hey, now's the time to try it. Came out a while ago, I think a few years ago. It's a top-down racer that seems deceptively simple, but requires precision turning and careful driving. So once you start driving, it's like, wait a second, it's not meant for kids. I don't even know if it's meant for like casual adults, but it is tricky. So the graphics look like a cartoonish, unofficial RC Pro sequel from, 30 years ago, whatever it came out. It's easy to get into, hard to master. So be prepared to hit up the walls, ease up on the throttle, and strategize, or you'll be dead last. The isometric camera is nice. Reminds me of Rock and Roll Racing from Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis days. There are Formula One cars. I never got to that. I don't know if I have to unlock them or what, but you sort of start with like little off-road cars. You can customize your engines, liveries, helmet, and victory celebrations. I didn't get that far either because I found that there are a lot of tracks. Anyways, I'll get to that. Micro Machines meets serious simulators, what it really feels like once you grab the controller and you start driving around. There's fuel usage, degradation of the vehicle if you hit walls, and tire damage. You'll notice that very fast because your car will suddenly lose half of its speed. So the game expects you to drive well, or your vehicle will start to smoke, overall acceleration significantly reduced. So while there are 32 tracks across 17 locations, and I feel like each circuit is really long, I'm not sure if I've touched this later, but many of the locations seem very similar. There's grassy stages, desert stages, some desert stages, city stages, I think. But the uniqueness seems to be more in the turns in the stages than the racetrack types, which is kind of a shame. And the online community is dead, so you'll have to play solo or with other friends that bought the game. So it's a fun game, but I just found after a few races, each track started to look the same. The game was getting kind of stale for me, just due to the lack of variety. It's like, oh, another track that looks pretty much 90% like the previous track with more turns. Or maybe there's a new item, like a new lamppost or something. I'm not even kidding, like that's just what I felt like. It's a shame because the game is polished and it needs that extra mile to have that longevity with its community. And unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it has that. It doesn't bother me, but many players would prefer to see cars damaged. I don't care, it's cartoonish, so it would, I don't know, kind of take away from the overall look. Depending on the impact speed, car rollovers, whatever. So the game really needs a track editor. This is what I'm getting at. And so the modding community could add other terrains, snowy landscapes, like there's none of that from what I remember. Or even fantastical kinds like, in space. So the game goes for $22.79, and which seems fair. It's a solid 8 out of 10. Like if you play with your friends or you're just playing for fun, but if the game has like some sort of level up progression system, and I don't fully understand, like, am I going to get a new car after that? I think so. But I got close to level 2, but it took like 10 races. It felt like 10 races just to get almost to level 1. I don't know, that's a lot of commitment that the game's asking for. So it's easily one of the better games that attempts to balance arcade racing with a simulation. It's just it doesn't look that way when you first start, and it's got a certain degree the realism of a simulator, but it's just a shame there's no community support to add more tracks, and I don't know if that's intentional. They were working on something else and they didn't have the time, or they're going to eventually give us another one. I know there's another kart racing game that came out that's like 3D instead of the isometric perspective, which I prefer the isometric perspective personally. But yeah, I would say, check it out. It's one of the better racing games. It's not like a Gran Turismo, 100% Gran Turismo. So anyways, keep on racing the circuit. Keep on gaming. I'm out. Bye.